Hey everyone, and welcome to our first call for the Grow Getters group, which is all about growing your business in this quarter with the goal of promoting to either associate stylist, senior stylist. That's really what we're focusing on in this specific group. And then we also have our stars to be who are in the group as well, participating as they are growing their businesses too. So welcome. I'm so glad you're here and that we're kicking this thing off. Just as a heads up, of course, this is being recorded right now, and those of you who are watching the recording, so glad that you're getting to tune in. For future calls, we're going to do them every other week, and those ones are not going to be recorded. So we're going to rotate times of when they're taking place because, of course, we all know we all have different schedules, and it's impossible to find one time that's going to work for everybody all the time. My hope is that this is going to be a time that is really valuable to you, that you're going to want to really make the effort to show up for, because there's going to be such great discussion taking place, ideas being shared, and all of that. And I think it's something that you're going to really look forward to. So they won't be recorded. So that's just where we're going to kick things off today, and hopefully you are also intrigued by our title of this call, Go the Whole Hog. And I'm just going to kick it off with a little inspiration, and the inspiration for that title is a quote from Roald Dahl. Any children's literary fans in the room? It's from Matilda. So the quote is, "Never do anything by halves if you want to get away with it. Be outrageous. Go the whole hog. Make sure everything you do is so completely crazy, it's unbelievable." So I absolutely love that quote, and I love this concept of just going all in, and that's really what I want to spend kind of half of our time talking about, and then I have a little like brainstorming activity for us on the second half. But I almost want you to look back on this call or look back on this recording and think about this as, this is a fork in the road in your business where you get to decide, regardless of what your goal is, that you're just going to go for it. And whether that's you want to promote to star stylist, whether that's you want to be earning $500 a month doing 2 trunk shows, whether you want to sponsor and promote to associate stylist, whatever your goal is, it's only yours to own it. And so one thing I want to just like wipe away is any feeling that your goal is not good enough. I think that's one thing that starts to happen when you see people who are going for, maybe what you see as like this really crazy big goal. There's a little bit of that comparison being the thief of joy, right? When you say, what's your trunk show goal for the month? And someone's like 8 shows. You're like, well, I want to do 1, but it kind of feels small. But if that one show is what fills your cup with this business, what, that extra income is meaningful to you, and that's what you want to do, own it and be happy and be proud of it. And just go for it. So don't be afraid to share your goal loud and proud, and just go all in. On that same note too, eliminate the option to quit. I think a lot of us waste way too much time hemming and hawing and worrying about if you're not going to get it and what's going to happen if you fail. Well, just take that off the table. Don't even have that be in there as an option. So if you want it, just decide it and go for it. And then let's make a plan. So know what your goal is, decide it's going to happen, and then we can use this time, and we can also chat one-on-one if you want to schedule a time for us or with your upline if that's not me, and make a game plan. And then show up and execute it, right? There's no point of having a weekly call or being on these calls if you just don't do anything between the next one and now, or if you really just waste all your time thinking about it and not actually doing anything, or thinking about how you're worried that you might not be able to achieve it, right? That's not productive. So think of this as that fork in the road, and going all in. And then the next thing that I want to share is the secret. And this is something that was just recently introduced to me. I think it's really true, and I'm still like absorbing it. But it is a book that basically outlines it basically is saying like this is like the secret to like happiness and success and the universe. So basically the idea of it is that what you think about comes about. What you think, the thoughts that you think, and if you believe that, you know, what you want, you will achieve, and you put the action behind it, and you're grateful and you show up and you're happy, that like good things are going to come your way. Of course, alternatively, on the same thought process, if you're worrying about things all the time and thinking about the things that you don't want, you're going to manifest those things into your life too. So if you're thinking about your business and you're thinking, well, I would like to do X, Y, and Z, but like I've never done it before. Well, maybe the reason why you've never done it before is because you sat around way too much thinking about how you don't want X, Y, and Z. You don't want this bad outcome, right? Does that make sense? Can I get like some nods? So if you think about how, you know, you're going to book all these trunk shows that you want, and you're going to totally sponsor a stylist, and your business is awesome, then that's what's going to happen, because that's what kind of like frequency you're putting out there in the universe. So you might think that sounds totally crazy and insane, but I want to just share a story from yesterday. So I had this book introduced to me, and I think I've always sort of had a sense of this type of thing being true. I really think that it makes a big difference, like where your mindset is, and having a positive mindset is probably like the most important thing in this business. And I definitely notice a difference in my business when I'm in a positive mindset versus when I'm in like a bad mental place with it. When I'm feeling discouraged or feeling frustrated, you know, you have to figure out a way to like break out of that and turn things around. So yesterday, so I had just been introduced to this actual book, and that this is actually like a thought out thing earlier this week, and was gifted the book, read the first chapter yesterday. So I wake up every day at 6 a.m., I make coffee, and I have at least 30 minutes where I'm just like reading, being mindful, setting the tone for the day. And so I read the first chapter of this book. And so it's outlining exactly what I just, you know, explained. And my goal this month, and some of you may or may not know, I'm in the Maven program now with Home Office, where I have some really big goals to hit. And my goal is to sponsor 4 stylists every month for the next 6 months. So, and so far for May, I have 0. So yesterday I was like, well, you know, I'm going to sponsor a new stylist today. And literally, I just kept thinking that in my head. And then as I was driving to Pure Barre yesterday morning to teach class, I was literally saying out loud, like a big weirdo in my car, like, I'm going to sponsor a stylist today. Today, I am sponsoring a new stylist. Like, today, someone is going to join my team. And I just kept saying it over and over and over again. And I mean, I have no idea who this person's going to be. Like, I don't have like some really hot lead on the table. Okay. So like, someone's joining my team today, and, you know, go teach my class, whatever. I come home, and earlier in the week, Danielle had thrown out to our group a challenge, like a flash challenge of, you know, think of somebody who you've never offered the opportunity to before, whether it's like a friend, a customer, a hostess, and just literally pick up the phone and call them out of the blue and be like, hey, it's Danielle from Stella and Dot. You know, I don't know why I've never talked to you about this before, and you might think this is totally out of left field, but why aren't you a stylist yet? So I'm like, I've never done that before. And I'm like, that's like semi crazy, but I'm very coachable. So I'm like, if that's my one flash challenge, like I'll do it. And I'm like, who am I going to call? So I'm sitting there and I'm thinking like, who is like cute and fun and like, would I want to hang out with more? So this one girl pops into my mind, and I'm like, oh my gosh, why have I never thought about her before? Why have I never offered her the opportunity? And I've never even like texted her before. We don't know each other that well. So I'm like, well, I'm going to call her out of the blue. Like, who knows what's going to happen? And I pick up the phone, call her, leave a voicemail, basically said like exactly what I just said, and just go on my merry way. Like, okay, well, whatever. Maybe she's going to think I'm a total freak, or maybe she'll just think, you know, it's flattering, or maybe she's going to join my team. So about 30 minutes later, she's calling me back, And I'm like, oh my goodness, she's calling me back. Like, what does this mean? She's either going to be like, never call me again, or it's going to be fine. So I call, and this is kind of just the humorous twist in the story. So the reason why I know her is because her mom comes to Pure Barre. Lisa, you probably know her, Judy. It's Judy's daughter. So, and Judy is like, I think she's in her 60s. Yeah. So, her daughter calls me back, oh my gosh, is my mom okay? So I'm like, oh my gosh, yes, your mom is fine. She thought I was calling because something happened to her mom at the studio and she was injured or hurt or going to the hospital. So it was I felt terrible. I'm like, no. Oh my gosh, she's totally fine. I'm so sorry for worrying you. Did you listen to my voicemail? She hadn't listened to the voicemail because she was literally at work and was like, why is Charlotte calling me? And ran outside. So I felt terrible. And I was like, no. I was like, but you're still going to think I'm totally random. I said, the reason why I called is because I had to ask, why aren't you a stylist on my team yet? And she was like, what? And I was like, you would be perfect at this. I was thinking of who would be someone that I would want to do this with. And you popped into my mind. I can't believe I've never thought of you before. And she says, I would love to do that. And I'm like, what is happening right now? So anyways, she had to run back into work, but she was like, my lunch break's in 30 minutes. Let me call you back. So she calls me back and she's like, okay, so tell me about this whole stylist thing. And I'm like, okay, that's too open-ended of a question. You've got to give me somewhere to start. I'm like, there's so many things that are exciting that are going on right now with Stella and Dot. What are you the most, what excites you the most about it? And I'm like, just so I have somewhere to start. So then she basically goes on to a 2-minute monologue of all the reasons why Stella and Dot's amazing and how she thinks she'd be great at it and how she wants to be in a community of women and basically just sells it to herself. And I'm like, this is going to be perfect. Let's get you signed up. So she hasn't actually physically signed up yet. Hopefully I'm going to, get that done today. But that is all just an illustration of what you think and what you want put out there is what manifests in your life. And it's not even just in our business, right? This is very universal. So I'm going to keep digging into this whole concept, but I wanted to share that with all of you because it's really been super groundbreaking in a very short window of time. And I think it's something that is going to really impact our entire team if we really embrace the concept. So let's pause right there. And does anyone have any thoughts to share or any questions or does anyone want to share their goal? I'll let you all speak.
Can you hear me? This is Virginia.
Yes.
Okay, sorry, I'm walking, so I guess I can put my video back on maybe if I can figure out how to do it with this phone, but I probably can't. Stopping.
Oh, I don't know where you just went, Virginia. We can't hear you. She's gone. Anyone else want to share anything?
Hey, Charlotte.
Hey.
So one of my original goals were, and not that I'm, I mean, it's something that, like you were saying, it's something that I want to do. Is I think it's one of the levels, and I just read them a couple days ago, but I can't even remember what level it was to get the what do you call that?
Was it one of the hoopla things?
Yeah. It's the, what is it? Is it the 20? It's 5,000, I guess, by end of June, right?
Yeah. That's for the elite level, for the extra swag.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
But you also get, when you order, isn't there something too if you order?
So I think you're thinking of there is also a perk for all Hoopla attendees.
Okay, that's, yeah.
Yeah. But so but to hone back in on like, what's the goal that you want to go for?
Well, I mean, I guess it's 5,000 by end of June, right?
Yes, for that elite level.
Right, and that's total cumulative, right?
Yes, from February to end of June for
Right.
any of those. And there's a tracker for that in your business dashboard.
Right. So I guess that's my goal right now. I mean, if I go over, it'd be great, but just looking at my schedule and all this stuff coming up, it's hard for me to probably do too much from here on in May because I just have so much going on from here on. But yeah, that's my goal.
Awesome.
I guess there's also the new, like you were saying, the new the all stylist goals too. That starts, when does that start?
Are you talking about I don't know what you're referring to.
Oh, I guess, okay, so I'm sorry. That's like for the July, I guess, and going forward.
Oh, the new sampling perks?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, that's not, yeah, that's something different. But I was looking at that
Okay.
to kind of guide where I want to go with
Yeah, for like your sampling perk. Yeah, and remember too, just as a refresher for everyone, so everyone who's in this group has indicated that they're interested in sponsoring. So we're going to talk a lot about sponsoring too, and really focus on promoting to associate stylists and above. And the cool thing about that is that that's really going to roll in to all the other incentives that are out there. So if you're, going for, if you're not an associate now and you go for associate, or if you're at associate and you go for senior, kind of whatever is that step up, or even if it's just getting to associate and hitting it consistently, or whatever level that you want, it's going to align you with your sampling perks, with the Hoopla headliner and all of that stuff. So that's actually, like, I know sometimes it can feel like there are a lot of different types of goals to go for. But the thing is that they all kind of roll into each other. So the main thing is like figuring out your trunk show calendar and then sharing the opportunity. And that's like the key to this business. If whatever you're doing is not leading to booking and sponsoring, you can just like stop doing it because it's not really productive. So think about things of like that are an income producing activity, and if they're not booking and sponsoring, then they're not in there. And yes, of course, like getting orders is in there too, but if all you're doing is that, your business is going to like die a slow death because you're not ever getting any new customers. So especially with the addition of Style Club, think of it now as the trunk show or pop-up or whatever event that you're doing to get in front of people is your new customer acquisition tool. And then the Style Club fuels your repeat online business. So that's going to be residual income and repeat future sales. So it's actually pressing the easy button on customer follow-up and collecting outside orders because you have like this clear reason of why you're reaching out to them, because they're in your Style Club and they have credits to redeem. So yeah, I love that you're focusing on elite headliner. I think, with any of the goals that we have, it's about creating a little bit of infrastructure around it and carving out when the time is going to be that you focus on your goal. So yeah, thanks for sharing that, Lisa. I think that's awesome. Who else wants to share something?
So I definitely can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. I wasn't sure if I unmuted myself. I definitely want to sponsor. I think my next step is associate. So that's what I need to do.
Love it.
Yeah.
And like, seriously, it's only May 11th. Like, it is completely possible and actually like easy to promote to associate stylist this month. And I think some of that is what we've got to wrap our minds around. Like with The Secret, what I'm talking about is feeling like these goals are not a big deal. I think we've gotten to this place where like, and I'm not speaking to anyone specifically, just in general, where it's like every goal feels like this big, gigantic, huge mountain to climb. So you're actually like manifesting that. It's like making it a lot harder versus if you're like, oh my gosh, associate stylist, like that's no big deal. That's you and one other person each doing 1 or 2 trunk shows.
Mm-hmm.
That's like easy peasy. And you could totally get that done by the end of the month. I mean, who wants to take like the crazy challenge that I did and call up 2 or 3 people randomly that you think would be great and say like, why aren't you doing this with me yet? They could literally be signed up today. And you might not even have ever warmed them up yet. And then if you guys both go out and sell 1,000, boom, associate. I love that. Liz, you should definitely be an associate stylist. Who else?
You froze on me.
I'm frozen.
Am I here? Can you hear me?
Yeah, you're back.
Okay, thank you. So I was just going to say, over the weekend, we talked a lot about goals, and, I liked what you said about, don't take no for an answer, or not no for an answer, but, if something changes. I know Jess experienced this a few months ago, where things just weren't working out the way she wanted to, but instead of like giving up that goal, she just like made another way, planned another route, And this weekend at the retreat in Outer Banks, we talked a lot about just, if you don't go after your goals, and Rachel Hollis said this, that you will regret it, because you're going to sit there and you're going to watch somebody else chase and achieve your dream. And that's going to be more frustrating than anything. So I really liked what you said about, don't give up on your goal. Don't even, because I'm going for Star this month. And so, of course, I don't have any style sessions the first 10 days of the month. And it's kind of frustrating, because I do the math. But you just think about, I cannot think about the fact that it could not happen. Like, that's not even an option. We're just going to find another way to make it happen. So that spoke to me.
I love that. Good. Thanks for contributing that. Yeah, I think when you eliminate the option of like failing, then you've got nothing to lose. And even if it is a different route than you expected, when you're not thinking failure or quitting or backing out is one of the options, when you're bumping up against a wall, you have no other choice but to course correct and try something else and just pivot. Does anyone like picturing Ross Green in their mind? Pivot! Any friends, lovers? Jess, do you want to share anything, or are you like doing some mommy stuff?
I will share, and there might be a baby. This is a day. If you don't know, I have a 7-week-old, and my toddler was puking this morning. So it's been interesting. Talking about your plan not looking like it you originally imagined it to be. My goal, oh Jesus. My goal for quarter 2 is to hit Star, and it's definitely, it's like what Charlotte said, like it's so doable. Like I'm the like perfect example of like putting it out there. You reach out to all of the people and you're like, I'm going to sponsor all the people, and you reach out to a big list and you do the follow-up and none of the people join. And then like one day you're just like, hey, I'm a stylist with Stella and Dot, and they're like, oh my God, I'm going to sign up with you. So it's such like, the secret is so true. And I guess I'm a very positive person, so I always feel like I think about the good things coming. And then, but Charlotte really like kind of tied it all together. Like I feel like my journey to associate stylist was definitely that type of journey. So it's totally possible, and I'm trying really hard to schedule time right now, but it's really obviously tricky with little ones. But yeah, so that's my goal.
Love that. Love that. So, okay, on that note, let's, the second portion of what I wanted to chat about today is any last thoughts on that topic, because I'm kind of about to switch gears a little bit.
Good.
Okay, everyone's good. All right, I just wanted to think about, and this is an idea that someone else shared, like who is the ideal stylist to join your team. And of course, we all know, like, we all lead different lives and come from different walks. And so there's kind of like multiple profiles of the ideal stylist. But I thought this would be just a great way to brainstorm and think and wrap your mind around who is out there that you might be overlooking, or where you could go to connect with these people that might not even be in your network yet. So let's just like brainstorm on that a little bit. And shoot, ready, set, go.
Okay, so I would say like the moms who know everybody.
Yeah, that's so good.
For example, the hostess I just had, she's had 17 orders and they're still coming in.
Wow.
Wow, that's great.
Have you talked to her yet about the opportunity?
No.
You're going to though, right?
Of course I am.
Yes.
I promise.
Like literally like, oh my gosh, your show is so good. Like, why aren't you doing this with me? Like,
right.
You would be amazing. I think when you just make it like that casual compliment, it's not like this big pitch, you know, it's not so serious. And then you can gauge the reaction. And like sometimes people will be like, oh my gosh, thanks, but like, no way. And then that's just a no, it's no big deal. But I think that casual way of throwing it out there is like, maybe I could do something like this. Yeah, moms who know everyone, that's so good. I think people who are goal oriented, stylish, people who are like fashionable, people who love fashion.
Yeah, anyone. I just signed up a stylist, and I don't even know why I waited so long, but I mean, she's like obsessed with jewelry. She did like a 58-day statement necklace challenge. And I was like, yeah, you need to be a stylist.
Mm-hmm.
What is a 58-day statement necklace challenge?
Exactly. She literally challenged herself to see how long she could go wearing a different statement necklace every day, and posted pictures of it on Instagram. True story. She made it 58 days.
Also, I feel like I've been hearing lately more and more like either stay-at-home moms who want something to like get out of the house and connect with other women, or working moms who would want something that's like just for them.
I would say people who could like genuinely use the money, or yeah. I watched a video by someone, Kim Jensen. I think he posted it in the Chain Gang. She's like the top in sponsoring. She's a blogger on Instagram, if you don't know. And she has an Instagram blog, so it like really does channel a lot of people to her. But she said like she reaches out to people that she genuinely thinks can use the money. And there was also, if you went to Hoopla last year, there's a woman who did all of like her business. I think she even started it when her daughter had cancer and was like doing it bedside by like chemo treatments. And so I had a trunk show or style session online, and one of the really active people was a woman in Ohio, and her daughter was born with like a lung defect, or I don't know, the details don't matter, but I just kind of thought like, you know what, I should offer it to her. And after watching that video, like it seems like you can think about it two ways. Like, am I like preying on this woman's like weakness, like she like type of thing? But like, I think when you really do come from like a genuine place, like, and she was totally open to it. She obviously does have a lot going on because her daughter still gets treatments and she works full time, but she was like, yeah, let me consider it. And she checked out things, and it's not the right time, but she hosted for me. And I think she's definitely definitely one of those people that is going to eventually jump on board.
Yeah, I think if you come from a true like place of I see what you're going through and I like think this could really help you, then that will resonate with people. But it also could be not even, because I just reached out to someone recently and I haven't heard from her yet. I have to follow up actually, who's like going through a divorce and has a young daughter. And, you know, like I even said in my message, like I was like, I hope this isn't like, you know, crossing any type of a line. Like I just heard you were going through this and like I had been thinking about her for like 3 days. Like I was like, I've been thinking about you and like I had to, you know, offer this. I don't know if it's something that would be helpful to you or not, but I had to share it. But I think also it might not with the financial need idea, not even just like something really tragic, but even like, what about that woman who wants to redo her kitchen? Or what about that woman who wants like extra money for a splurgy family vacation and wants, you know, like Virginia, you're always my inspiration there. Or even, you know, the brides to be like, that's why I would love for us to keep sharing what we plan to do with our Stella and Dot income, because it really is a good memory jogger or mental jogger for me of like why this might really be great for people. So like when Deirdre just shared that she's saving up for like her dream wedding dress, I was like, oh my gosh, brides to be, and just was going through and sharing it in that genuine way of, hey, I know you're engaged. Congrats. It's so exciting. You know, was thinking of you and wanted to reach out because a stylist on my team, or you can say a stylist that I'm friends with, is saving up all of her Stella and Dot earnings for some wedding, you know, extras that might have to have been cut out of the budget otherwise. You know, is that something that would be helpful to you? Also, I'd love to share more. Are you open to that? And just putting it out there like that. Any other last thoughts? We're going to get kicked off soon, and I have one last thing. All right, last thing, we're going to wrap it up with this. We are going to do, and this is kind of, again, that fork in the road. Like, you've got to decide, are you in or are you out? We are going to do a 21-day challenge. So if you don't know, you've probably heard of 21-day fix, which is like the Beachbody's thing. I think we're about to get kicked out. So I might have to go live on the group and share the rest of this with you if we do. But it takes 21 days to form a habit. However, the great irony with that is that it only takes 4 days to break a habit. So you can be like cruising along and doing your thing for 21 days, and then like you get sick, or you have a long weekend, or, you know, life happens, right? And all of your hard work can just like go to the pooper because you know, took a break for 4 days. So I think that's good to know, because of course sometimes you are going to take a break. Sometimes you're going to have a vacation, but it's good to know, hey, if I don't get back to business, I'm going to lose my great momentum and my great habit. So we're going to do a 21-day challenge with this group that is to spend 15 minutes every single day, including the weekends. It's going to be crazy, right? 15 minutes a day working on your business. Again, booking and sponsoring. If it's not booking and it's not sponsoring, cut it out. And I think it's going to be really cool to see with this how the little things are going to really add up over the next 21 days. And we're starting today because, you know, why wait for Monday to go for your goal? Why not start on the 11th of the month? I don't know about you guys. Odd numbers kind of freak me out, but we're just going to go for it. So we're going to start today, 15 minutes. And what might that look like? That might be like reaching out to 2 people, right? Reaching out to 2 people about booking a show, reaching out to 1 person about joining and 1 person about booking. You know, all of those little things that are prospecting. So 15 minutes of prospecting a day. You guys in?
Yeah.
Totally.
Easy.
And we're going to be like checking in together on